Now, it's all very well having an amazing van that looks sick, but the problem with it is I can't live in it. I still haven't fitted the wind deflectors, the fridge, the electrical hookup cables, the carbon monoxide alarm. It has no kettle, no cooker, no thermal blinds, and no battery. So in this episode I'm going to set about sorting all these issues out so that I can take it on a test weekend to the Peak District before my actual lithium battery turns up, and then to iron out any trips before I do the North Coast 500 in December. Right, so my battery is going to go in this hole when I've actually got it. It arrives in 3 days, which is super annoying, so I've got to move this whole unit this way to then fit it in its forever home. But for the first trip, it's going to live in here, and you can just see the cables there, terrible lighting, and that's where it's going to have to live for the first trip. Right, okay, that's the battery installed there in the cupboard. Clearly that's not its final resting place, but that's where it's going to go. And what is great is I've got my lithium battery finally. It's a Fogstar Drift, 230 amp hours, so look forward to next Saturday's video of installing this absolute monster of a battery. Right, so here we've got the LP Cool fridge that I'm going to be using in this van build. Pretty spacious. It's the G22 model, so it's 22 litres. That's the power supplies in there. Pretty good. It's got a little separate ice cube tray if you need it. It's a compressor fridge, which is great news. It's got like a really nice sort of control panel here. It's got really nice writing when it lights up, and obviously the compressor's in the bottom right corner there, but more than big enough for what I need, and it's going to be going in the sliding pull-out drawer in my kitchen unit. But first I've got to wire it up, so I'm literally just going to cut the 12 volt cable off and then wire it directly into my fuse board. Right, this is the cable that I've got for the fridge. As you can see, it's just like a standard plug-in. Now I could plug it in on here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cut this off and then just wire it directly to my fuse board, because I think it's just a lot easier. So that's what I'm going to do. Right, so thankfully I've got loads of spare cable there. It runs through the back of my kitchen unit and it just pokes out the back there. Sorry, the lighting's terrible, but that's where it pokes out. Right, so I've just pulled the positive wire through, which will obviously connect in here. I'm just going to remove that one, connect it up, and then the negative obviously out the bottom, which will go to the negative bus bar, and then I'll fuse it across here with an appropriate size fuse, and then I'll turn it on and see if the fridge is working. Right, okay, that's the battery installed there in the cupboard. Clearly that's not its final resting place, but that's where it's going to go. I've got the fridge down here good to go, and I've also wired up the fridge. It's the top one you can see there with a 10 amp fuse. So all I have to do is hit the big red button and see if the fridge turns on. So I'm going to do that right now. So far, no crazy lights coming on. That's all turned on. My switch panel's come on, auto turn. And it looks like the fridge is on with its on button. Right, so with this on, I'm just gonna. This is the first time I've turned this on, so that's clearly not what we want to set it to. So I just want it to be. Oh goodness! I only want it to be bloody 2 or 3 degrees. Yeah, and I think if I push this button, maybe it'll yeah, there we go. So that's the fridge installed, so works pretty well there. Look, sits really comfortably in there, and then when I just close this, I'll swap my hands over with the camera. I've got a little catch here, and away she goes. And that's the fridge up and running. Electrics all look pretty good. Battery voltage good, and obviously I'll have to check that, seeing as I've got a random leisure battery and not my amazing lithium one, which I've got to install next week. But yeah, hopefully we don't have any problems with that. Right, really important one now to install is the carbon monoxide alarm. So it's going to sit just on the wall there, at approximately head height when we're lying down, so that we know if there's an issue with gas leaking, then we're safe at night. So real quick, simple install for these. Put one of these in the house that I rent, so let's get it on the wall. Right, there it is, already installed. Nice and low, pretty much out of the way. Doesn't interfere with the table operation, and more importantly, it's at head height basically, so if there is an issue in here when we're sleeping, we'll know, and then we'll be able to wake up. So yeah, quick little install that, super easy. Right, getting to the fun stuff now. I got one of these CADAC Cooker Pro Deluxe with the sort of the quick release jobby on it, so I'm just going to get this out now and have a quick look at it before installing it and showing you the sort of the gas setup that I'm using. Right, here's the CADAC Pro. I've got like a little Webster's bag for it, for carrying it around like I'm some sort of loser, so I'm not going to use that. That's going straight in a box somewhere. This is going in the van. The quality of it is pretty exceptional, to be fair. It's obviously got 2 on and off, and they're sort of got one of those piezoelectric sort of starters, so no need for a lighter, which is an absolute win. Clearly it just closes when it tucks away. It looks sick, to be fair. It is really nice. And then if you remove these, you've got 2 of these, like a proper griddle plate, which you can use. That'll be having a fry up done on it. And then the other one, which I won't show you, is just like a plain sort of standard one. But the quality of these is, I don't even have one of these in my house, so bit of a luxury to have it in the van. Quick release coupling on the side, which is great news. So yeah, that's the CADAC, that's the cooker. So let's look at the gas setup. Right, so here's the gas setup. Now, I really wanted to not use one of those massive sort of, 10, sort of 15 kilogram butane canisters, because they just took up so much space. So what I've opted for here is the much smaller versions. Now, knowing me, all I do is heat something up for dinner, which doesn't take very long, and make brews. So these will last ages from my experience, even using one of these crazy sort of gas hobs. This is the connector that I've gone for. It's actually quite difficult to find one that fit the small canisters. So it looks like this. It's one of these camping gas ones. It's got a connector on the bottom for an actual decent sized canister, which is this one here. And then also the push fit. So this one will literally just clip on the top here if I push it hard enough, which I'm not going to just now. And usefully, it's got the canister types written on it. So the right hand side is 904 and 907. In fact, I was wrong actually. Yeah, I think that's what my canisters here are. So yeah, so this has got the canister types on it. So our 904 and 907, I believe, are the big ones, or the bigger camping gas ones. And then the one on the right, you can see it says CV470 plus. So mine has got CV470 written on it. So these are compatible, which is great. And clearly I'm just going to run the hose from this regulator into the sort of quick stop connection on the side. So I've got a little quick stop connector here, which is great news. So I'm going to plumb this up right now, and then give it a quick test fire just to make sure that it works before I go on an adventure. Right, that was a mission to get those on, because it's like 1 degree in my garage, so this pipe was obviously like rock hard and it wouldn't let the quick connector go in. But then I remembered the best trick for that is just to put it in a cup of hot water or warm water. It loosened it right up and they slipped right on. So I'm just going to connect it all up now and give it a test. So pretty simple really. Right, so turn this on. I assume I'm going to turn this on. Hopefully I don't hear anything. Tiny little noise, but other than that. And then it's push this in and then push that. Oh, would you look at that? We have fire. There we go. Pretty simple, and I guess it's a case of doing the same with the other one. Get them both tested. Look at that. Probably the easiest camping stove I've ever used. Let's get these off before I burn my garage down. Right, off you. Off you. Nipped. I wanted a really fancy kettle, but I settled for one of these 1.6 litre ones from a questionable source. But let's get it on the stove and see what it looks like. Yeah, perfect. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? With a cool grey, with the rest of the sort of setup. So I'm just going to go plumb this into the van now. Undo the quick connector, and just put this in another cupboard until I have to use it. Probably tomorrow night for the first night, which will be exciting. Right, here we are. Here's the cooker set up. So yeah, obviously when I want to use it, I could use it in situ where it is, but what I'm going to do is put it up here. And then cook there, not least because it's directly above the roof vent. Well, they both are, to be fair, but it'll just give me more space, and this seat will be rotated when I want to use it. So yeah. Right, next thing is the window blinds. So I'm just going to open this package, fit a couple, and hopefully they fit and they're decent. They come in like a cool little case. This is where I got them from. It was from eBay actually, and I think it was actually an eBay shop called Energized Customs, but I'm just going to pull a couple of these out. Two of them I don't need because I just don't have the windows, and I'll see which ones I need, and then let's have a look. Okay, this is what the reflective blinds look like. Obviously this is the side that goes in the van, and this is the side that faces the window, so hopefully should keep it a bit warmer in there in the night. I'm just going to show you one on one of the barn doors. It doesn't take a genius to work out what they look like when they're all fitted, but yeah, quite simple to install. They just stick on and hopefully keep me a bit warmer. Right, stuck on there, not so good because it's like literally 0, maybe -1 degree, so there's condensation on the inside of the window, but that's what it'll look like when it's installed. Obviously I've got ones for the 2 inner windows and all the windows at the front, so it's complete privacy, and also these are actually quite thick, so hopefully it'll help with a bit of the keeping the heat in. Right, last little mod this evening is to get these wind deflectors on the windows. It's a simple case of just removing these sticky sort of pads, winding the window down and just slotting it into place, and then putting the windows back up. So I'm not going to film that because it's boring as sin, but rest assured they're on. Last, by no means least, is the rubbish bin, which comes with a really easy sort of system of sticking it on the inside of the cupboard. So I reckon this is going to take me 20 seconds to install, so let's get on it. Right, so I've reached the point where I've now got to actually test everything because I'm going away tomorrow for the first night. So I've turned on my big red switch. I'm just going to turn on the main lights as well. You can see that the battery voltage, which is 14 volts at the moment because I've got the engine running. The battery is in this cupboard here with the bin. It's right in the back. You can just see it there. Not its final place because my lithium battery turns up in 2 days, which is super annoying. So I don't think I need any of this on display right now, which is great. So we'll get rid of him. Next thing I've actually got to do is get my cushions in here, but now this is where I'm going to just test test everything is actually working. So if I can't actually remember how to work this, so if I go here, power mode, yeah, turn him right up, we'll turn him on, yeah, and we'll see what happens. And then hopefully I've got my heater down there with a little heater box. If you want to see how I built that heater box or the switch panel, I've got separate videos, both linked in the description. So yeah, if I just flick, I'll just flick the main lights off. In fact, I'll keep them on. So I'm just going to test now and make sure everything works prior to me sort of heading off tomorrow with the missus and seeing how this works in real life. Right, so I've been sat in the van for about 20 minutes now. It's slowly heating up in here. Currently 4 degrees inside. I've got the fridge on, and you probably might be able to hear the heater, but it's on full whack at the moment. And if you look at the overlay that I'm just putting on the screen now, the VICTRON Connect app, it seems to suggest that I've got approximately 22 hours with this setup, which is good because realistically the battery just needs to last probably 3 hours in the evening when we're sat in the van before we go to bed. But I am quite worried about this really terrible battery. So the video next Saturday is obviously going to be the installation of my lithium battery, which I'll then have complete peace of mind that I can run everything. But we'll see how this weekend goes, and hopefully it goes alright. And yeah. And here's the final result. So this coming week is the installation of my Fogstar lithium battery, and then the following week will be the full build time-lapse. As always, thanks for watching, and make sure to check out my other videos. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you at the next one.